your guy.
Let's do it. Let's just do
If
it.
you
So,
still, if you hear cult personality, I wouldn't be shocked.
listen, I think as time has moved on, obviously we were talking about CM Punk, the rumored return to WWE at some point, and with this event happening in Chicago, obviously the dots have been connected that this would be the perfect situation to bring back a CM Punk to an absolutely ridiculous pop and all sorts of fanfare, and these people will be chanting CM Punk throughout the event. So I don't care.
The entire time.
They went out and said Randy Orton is the fifth member to avoid people thinking that it could be CM Punk, which was a smart move. But also, the only problem I had with it was that they didn't bring Randy Orton out. I think they should have had Randy Orton there to, kind of just give that.
There have been so many internet rumors about that. It's insane. It's like, I love the Twitter rumors about they didn't bring out Orton because Orton's going to get attacked backstage because he's not fully healed yet, and then that fifth member is going to have to be somebody that's in Chicago with nothing to do.
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, man. Like, I pump the brakes there. I'm still optimistic that he shows up. Like, I'm still at the point where it's like,
I think he's going to.
I would need him to show up. I think there's been so much discourse about it that they haven't flat out, WWE hasn't flat out said like, hey, we're not. There've been the rumors that said like, oh, there's no interest. You can't just say, oh, there's no interest, because there's clearly interest. Because they say like, oh, there's no interest, and then you're interviewing people in WWE and they're like, hey, bring him on, like, go for it.
He's one of the biggest stars in wrestling. Like, that's what's making me think that he's going to show up, is because they're working so hard to shoot it down and make sure that like nobody thinks that he's coming, so that the surprise isn't basically revealed before it happens.
Yeah, and again, like, they could have gotten out well in front of this and said at one of the other events, like, hey, you know what? In the post event press conference, hey, you know what? We're not getting CM Punk. Like, it's just we had talks. We're not doing it. They haven't done it. Every rumor that it's been like, oh, we're not interested, has been just that. I think rumors. I don't know, man. Like, I would be disappointed if he did not show.
I would be.
I think at this point, like, and again, you have that we talked about before we started recording, but you have that weird Nakamura angle where it's like, it's very cryptic and weird. You're not just going to keep him, like, you had a promo on the go home show on Raw on Monday. You're not just going to have him not either do anything at Survivor Series or whatever. You're going to have to bring it up at some point. And if it's anybody but CM Punk on those promos, I mean, it's
Brock's the only one I'd be okay with if it was.
Then that's fair. Like, if he's calling out Brock, then okay, I get it. But like, still, just say, hey, I just come out and say like, hey, it's the Beast, or AJ Styles, like, hey, I'm calling you out. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, let's do some cryptic stuff, and it just be not CM Punk.
I still can't get over him showing up on the ramp a couple months ago and hitting the GTS out of nowhere. Like that. Like, that's not a move he usually just like whips out.
Nobody does the go to sleep. Yeah. Nobody does, and that's the weird part. It's like, all right, well, signs are being pointed that way. Let's just do it. Like, if that's where we're going, let's just do it.
I do believe, though, man. It's
and that's your boy.
I think, like, I love CM Punk. I love him.
The good thing is like, I think they've had good enough storylines in place over the last little bit of time that they have so many people that are just not doing much anything, and it's like, it gives CM Punk activity over the next 3 months, right?
You have 3 hours of Raw to find time to kill.
Yeah.
Every week. You have Chelsea Green and Piper Niven taking time up. You have all these different people who are just... I
like Chelsea Green, though. Chelsea Green's fine in my book.
I love Chelsea Green as well. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of TV time that needs to be killed and eaten up. Why wouldn't you add... Like, if you have the possibility to add somebody who can still go and still has that star status with them and is still just, to kind of right the wrong from the past and maybe put a bow on CM Punk's WWE time, it would be perfect.
But it's like you look around on both shows, it's like, what's Nakamura doing? Nothing, right?
What's
You know,
KO
what's
doing?
Kevin Owens doing?
Yeah.
Nothing. So there's two tailor-made feuds to build up into WrestleMania without having to automatically put a belt on them, kind of what AEW needed to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like there was nothing for him to, like you said, there was nothing for him to do at AEW. That's why he was in the title conversation, and he got banged up and he got hurt. But I would say those matches over there are a little bit different than the matches that occur in the WWE. So I think maybe you don't need CM Punk wrestling every night. It's kind of
No, and I don't even think you need him, and you don't need him to compete for a title. I think that's
no.
a big piece of it too. It's like, he's going to be a ratings draw regardless, so he can be literally just hanging out with KO, and it's like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, you could do anything with him. It's just the his aura and the reemergence of him is worth it to me. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, no, they don't want him, they don't like him, they don't like all the drama that surrounded him or whatever. But I believe a lot of that was AEW driven as opposed to maybe CM Punk driven. I think the first time around in WWE, he was just burnt out and things weren't going his way, which I don't blame him. I would have been upset if I had the greatest professional year of my life and then The Rock just showed up and stole my, WrestleMania main event that I've been working my whole life
Dwayne.
for. Yeah.
Dwayne.
Which I understand why they did that, but I'm just saying if you're in his shoes, you have to imagine that would upset you a little bit.
Yeah. And again, I think like the timing of it makes perfect sense too, because again, he obviously, I guess, his non-compete or whatever, it's up.
Yeah.
If he had one, AEW in the ratings is not doing as good as you would like to see, and this is a chance for WWE to kind of clearly pull away from that, and from what I've been hearing or seeing online is kind of MJF has renewed his contract, so I think he's staying.
That's sad.
I think that's what the people have been saying. I'm not surprised because he hasn't brought up the whole bidding war thing in quite a bit. But like again, I think it makes complete and total sense. And again, you have stuff for him to do. Like it's not like it's all right. Let's get CM Punk. What do we do with him? Oh, we're going to throw him into a feud with Roman Reigns.
No,
it's very similar to Cody. Cody came in. You had an entire summer where he wasn't in the title picture. He was doing it with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Right? I think now you have a little bit more or a couple more people with some cachet that you can throw him in there with and a couple more storylines that you can lend it to Punk and say, okay, we're not going to give you a title shot just yet, but here's some people that I think would be good to work with. Kevin Owens, Nakamura, like we talked about, AJ Styles, like they're dudes that are just not really doing too much anything. Seth Rollins, when he drops the title, like, you have your pick of, okay, this doesn't need a title attached to it. And It's in Chicago. Like it's in Chicago, and you haven't. Not only have you not said anything about denying it, you keep opening up seats in the arena.
Yeah.
Like, I love Randy Orton. Love Randy Orton. He's top. I don't know. He's top 10 for me, easy. But like, you're not just going to keep up opening up the arena and selling more tickets for Randy Orton.
And also, you're not going to do all this, and you're not going to expect those people to basically riot if he doesn't show up, because at this point, people are believing that he's coming. Like those people in Chicago
you're gonna come out on the show and tell the crowd like, "Hey, listen, we didn't sign CM Punk. Grow up." Like, there's going to be very, very loud CM Punk chants.
Yeah. It's
very loud CM Punk. I honestly, if he comes back, I'd open the show with it. Kind of like they did in AEW when he came back. But
I think if you see Nakamura at any point during the show, if he comes out to do that like open challenge sort of thing, and maybe they don't do the match, he's not going to wrestle on Saturday night, but maybe he just says basically like calls him out, says whatever I don't know how necessarily or exactly they do it, but
I would have it. I mean, you could do it a couple different ways. I would have it be either he opens the show, You hear the music. He comes right out. He says he signed. He signs right there on side. And then Nakamura comes and attacks him. Type of vibe.
Okay.
You could do it like Nakamura comes out and says, "I'm gonna issue an open challenge tonight. I know you're here." Type of thing. You could do a video promo with Punk. Just not be in the arena. Maybe just put him on the in the backstage and be like, "Hey, you called me out. I'm here." Type thing.
Yeah.
I would love to see it though. Have a special Grayson Waller effect.
Yep. I was just going to say that.
Just have CM Punk come out during the Grayson Waller effect.
The place would go absolutely nuts. And you could do it. You could bury that right in the middle of maybe one of the, after a Gunther match or something like that. Just,
yeah.
Because other than these War Games matches, it's going to be a slower night. I mean, the Gunther match we just love because we're fans of both these guys, but it's not really a loaded card necessarily.
No, I mean, you're going to open with the women's match more than likely.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go to, I guess right after the women's, you're going to go to Gunther and the other ones, and you're going to close with the men's one. So you want to keep CM Punk kind of clear of that men's one.
I agree. So, I would love to see him show up. I think it's the perfect opportunity. I think they're wasting a really good opportunity. I mean, of course, they could bring him back at the Rumble at some point and just throw him in there and get a huge pop there. But
nah, you're wasting opportunity.
I agree.
Come back.
I agree. Why not do it Saturday night at Survivor Series and just cash in on all of that crowd and that fanfare and bring him back the way he kind of deserves to be brought back.
Yeah, no, I think you have to do it.